Good morning. Good day, my beautiful lady. How are you this morning? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. My I'm doing old people things now. I have to get a colonoscopy, so I'm a little nervous about it. I'm doing old people things, Kathy. I just meow. So, but I have to get it done. I'm not trying to postpone it, but I have to do what I got to do. So it is what it is. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes to see who comes in the room. I think I have it open to everybody because usually I lock the lives down to just the top tier, and it'll only be the top tier. Only a couple people from that tier come in. But today, I believe I have it open. I wanted to talk about cycles because life cycles, certain patterns and cycles that will repeat in your life, and you want to be able to be free of them. You see what I'm saying? There are certain things that we do, certain behaviors, and it's all Saturnian when we have certain bad experiences repeating. So I wanted to really get into that today about just the life cycle and cycles altogether when it comes to astrological cycles and personal, your life and, real life, personal cycles, you know, because everything goes in a pattern and in a cycle. So, yep, I'm going to give it a couple more minutes just to see who comes in. Puppy, you are not going outside. And all that noise is unnecessary. What are you doing? I know. You love your grandma. I love you too, boo. What's the matter? You want to be picked up? No. Lord have mercy. This is crazy. He's following me around the house because this is what he wants. He wants to cuddle. He wants to lay on his grandma. He wants to go across my chest like y'all see him do. That's what he want to do. He wants to lay across my chest and just get rubbed and it just be his time. Because this is what he think it's about. No, sir. Okay? It's a mess. Anyway, let's get into cycles. Look at this one. The love. The love. Oh, no. You love your grandma? Okay. Go ahead on about your business. Oh, Lord. Okay. So let's talk about cycles today. Now, the first cycle I want to get into is the life cycle. Okay, and we'll grow into let's talk about the life cycle first, because this is where all things begin and end 3D and spiritually. Okay, so we all start out as a thought, which makes it a spirit, which creates a spirit depending on what the thought of it is. Okay, because if you're here on 3D and we're having our thought, then we can think of creating a picture. You see what I'm saying? We can think of creating this thing that holds the tape, but this doesn't necessarily have a spirit to it. I mean, it kind of does, but it has the spirit of the person who created it. But it doesn't have life. This is just the object. Okay. But there was still a life cycle to creating this. And when it's over, it'll go into its death. But right now it's still in its life cycle in my home. But most things that are alive and dead start off in the spirit realm with a thought. Okay. And then as we're born, we come into this birth and we go through a portal to be born. The portal of the womb, whatever portal, even when you die, there's a portal that you go through. And I don't think it's an easy portal because babies always come out crying. They go through that lot of tightness and stuff you got to go through in order to get to this birth section. But once you get through this birth and you've gone through that portal, you start to live life and you have the life experiences. So the life experience of this tape holder is it being in my house. And every time I want to buy a big roll or a small roll of tape, it's here for me to use it. And when I'm done with it, or when the universe is or our life cycle has completed, or whatever life cycle of whatever we have created that has come from spirit, okay? Once we finished our purpose on this earth, then we go into our death, which is another portal. All right. And through that portal of death and that transformation altogether, we then go back to spirit. All right. And we can choose to do the cycle again. Now, the same thing happens with experiences in our life. And how this happens is the universe, the planets in the universe go through certain cycles every year, every few years. You notice that there's a pattern. That's how they're able to track where Pluto is going to be today, tomorrow, yesterday, however, 20 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 1,000 years from now, is because they notice the cycles that go on with each planet. Okay, those planets cause certain events and experiences to happen in our lives. And when those experiences happen, they trigger certain things within us that may bring us into certain aspects of our lives that revisit certain cycles. So what happens is with the universe, the planets all doing their thing. These are the planets, and this is Earth. We have the sun and the moon. Okay. I don't know why the sun at the bottom, but I'm just putting it there for now. This is not at the bottom. This is just a top view of the planets, okay? And all that energy from the planets is flowing to Earth, giving us those experiences. And those experiences are triggering certain behaviors and experiences within us that brings us back to certain repetitive cycles. For instance, if you notice on your birthday, the month before your birthday, you will notice certain cycles that will begin. You done, what you out here doing? You come here. Okay, fine. You'll notice that on your birthday, a month before your birthday, there usually will be some type of tragedy, or I don't want to say a tragedy, some type of experience that you will normally revisit. It'll be some type of triumphant experience sometimes a month before your birthday. That's a normal cycle that will normally happen. It's like every year for your birthday, you'll start a new lesson, a new experience, or you see what I'm saying? And from that experience, you'll go through that year. And then by the end of that cycle, with the birth of the experience, you'll start the experience with your birthday. You'll have the birth of the experience. The experience will start to happen. So that'll be like the month before your birthday. These things will start happening. You'll experience whatever bad thing, good thing, repetitive thing that you would have noticed every year around your birthday. You may have gone through some type of financial difficulty. You may have gone through some type of emotional family argument. Some people, you may notice around Christmas every year, there will be an uproar in the family. That's a cycle that normally happens. Okay, and you can follow the path and the pattern of that. And it's because, of course, people do fuck shit, but also because there's something happening in the planets that's causing that cycle to revisit for you to clear out whatever it is you need to clear out. If that makes sense. But you're supposed to try, like, be victorious over whatever it is the month before your birthday. But you should it will revisit you. Something will revisit you the month before your birthday. Period. So yeah. These cycles, of course, come in waves and in different. That was just one example that normally happens with every person until you clear up said behavior that causes the cycle to repeat. And what will happen is the cycle will still come around, but because you've learned the lesson, you won't repeat the behavior, if that makes sense. Okay. So we have the planetary alignments that repeat cycles. Like last year, we had Jupiter that went retrograde. Jupiter goes retrograde tomorrow. So Jupiter went retrograde last year, and Jupiter went back and got things that it felt that you deserved at the time. That thing that was overlooked, or they felt like you had worked for this, you had worked for the upgrade, you had worked for this. It may not be perfect. They want you to find fault in it. As my accountability coach said one day, don't just accept anything, find fault in it. I'm like, oh Lord. But she's right. Find fault, because you want to let the universe know your standards. Let them know what you like, what you don't like. But with that Jupiter retrograde, it came back and brought what you were missing, things that you deserved, the upgrades that were necessary in your life. That's what Jupiter did. Then this Jupiter retrograde, which starts tomorrow, it's about the life lesson, the karmic lesson that you needed to learn. That's what it's about. So this one specifically is going to have you end. Remember when I was talking about addictions in one of my readings or something like that? It's something like that. It's going to go back and help you clear up those things that you just haven't cleared up the right way. Any straggling things that are behaviors, you would have already had the awakening moment for, and now it's time to go after them with this Jupiter retrograde. And it's going to be that way for a while. So I don't know. Let me see how long. I know it goes in retrograde now, but I know it's going to be in retrograde for a few months. February 4th, 2025. This one says Jupiter retrograde 2024, a cosmic shift for your rising sign. Hindustan times. This is according to astrology expert Jordan Marie, each rising sign will be impacted by the Jupiter retrograde starting from October 9th, 2024 to February 4th, 2025. Since May, Jupiter has been in Gemini, encouraging the zodiac signs to ask questions, explore new ideas, and be curious. But during this retrograde, it's less about exploring and more about reflecting. See what I'm saying? Told y'all we going back into things that we needed to have cleared up. Hey, Puka Bud. Hey, Ting Ting. Missed you. This is the perfect time to relax, listen to your inner thoughts, and figure out what has changed. According to the astrology expert Jordan Marie, each rising zodiac sign will be impacted by the Jupiter retrograde. Let's unveil the effect of the planetary retrograde on each zodiac sign. I'm not going to go through each sign. But if y'all tell me your rising sign, I'll read yours. Let's see. I'm going to go to my rising sign, Sagittarius. Since Jupiter is your ruling planet, this retrograde feels personal. You're being asked to reflect on your relationships with life and your sense of well-being. and belonging. It's also a time to look at your relationships with others and notice how they mirror parts of yourself. This period invites you to explore your balance between intuition, logic, belief, and facts. Okay, go ahead, Sagittarius. So let me know and I'll read yours if you want to. But that's just one of the retrogrades. We have Pluto retrograde, which Pluto will be going direct soon. Actually, let me go to another screen just in case y'all put it up. Pluto goes direct October 11th, 2024. I'm so excited about that. During this time, Pluto will move between Aquarius and Capricorn and then settle into Aquarius for the next 20 years. So right now, Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn, but it's in the beginnings still of Capricorn. It doesn't move fast. Pluto is a very slow, big, slow ass planet that affects our lives in big ways. When I discuss Pluto, I talk about change now. October 11th, we're going to have a change now, or we would have already changed now. October, during this time, when Pluto is going direct, especially when Pluto enters Aquarius again, it'll be leaving gifts for people who have done their Capricornian work, and that gift would have been already solidly put into place from your hard work and dedication, from the work that you did in your life. So you would already be settled in that, so to speak. Okay. Your rising sign is Gemini. So that's something big that we're looking forward to, is Pluto going direct. That will affect us greatly. And Saturn goes direct November 15th, 2024. That's the main one. Saturn is known as the planet of responsibility, limits, karma, and lessons, and its retrograde motion is considered a significant transit. Some say that Saturn retrograde can make people feel unstable and unfocused, but it can also be a time to reevaluate and refocus. Here are some things that Saturn retrograde may feel. I don't feel like getting into that. But it goes direct November, which I'm really excited about, actually. So let's look at Gemini real quick. As Jupiter retrograde begins, it's time to let your mind relax. Take a moment to pause, feel grounded, and reconnect with silence. This period invites you to reflect on your life from a new perspective. It's a time to trust your intuition and explore your beliefs about the world and your place in it. Ooh, I love that for you. I love that. Hi, Shan. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, yes, these cycles that we're going to be going through, or these are normal every year cycle, but they tackle different things in our lives. And this one is about, as we keep repeating for this year and going into next, reflection about the work that we've done and redirection, refocusing, which is wonderful. For example, I was thinking about getting back into real estate. I was like, I'm gonna go get my real estate license in North Carolina and just have it, just in case anybody I know want to buy a house. And I'm still going to do that, but I'm not going to make it a big focus, because I want to keep my focus on my school, and I want to keep my focus on my apothecary. That's very important to me, to keep this going, because I've worked so hard for it. My real estate is just something that I can do for fun, in spare time, if I have it, things to that nature. You see what I'm saying? So those are things where you're going to have to learn to refocus, find ways to delegate, things to that nature. But the whole purpose of this is to talk about these cycles, because these are the cycles that you're going to be repeating. And if you're noticing that you have a certain pattern that keeps repeating in your life, every time this time of year happens, you're noticing this. Every time that time of year happens, you're noticing that. You're going to take that pattern and you're going to, well, you've already disrupted it, especially if you've been with me for a while. You've done the work to disrupt it. So you're disrupting the pattern, okay? And you're going to, even though the cycle of the planet still going retrograde, which is still going to send the energy down for you to have the same aura of experience, or I don't want to say aura, but it's going to have the same kind of vibe. You're different in it now. So you'll respond to Jupiter retrograde different, or the Pluto retrograde, or Saturn retrograde, or whatever ones that we're having, because it's a lot of planets right now. And remember, we just had the lunar eclipse in Pisces and the solar eclipse in Libra, which affected Aries, because Libra and Aries are one on that same axis. They're like yin and yang of each other. This is all about yourself and your relationship with yourself and this world. And as I read in Gemini, your belonging in it, or how you feel you belong and your place that you take in it. Straight up. Now, this is a normal cycle for everything. This is even our magical cycle that I love to talk about all the time, where it starts with the thought, which creates that spirit, that energy that is needed to create the life of whatever it is that you're trying to create. So when you're starting your magical spell, the thought of it starts here with spirit. Then what we start doing, we start gathering our supplies. We start putting things together. We put the spell together. We do the spell. That's the birth of the spell, is when we do the spell. Once the spell is complete, then the life of the spell, well, not, we're doing the spell, we're practicing it, we're lighting the candle. Now the life of the spell is going for those 7 days, for that 1 hour, for that 1 month, however long. So once we do the spell, we give life to the spell. The spell is doing its thing. It's taking however much time it takes to come to fruition. Once it's complete, then it goes into the death of the spell. Again, that's a whole different transformation. And from that death, we bury it, we burn it, we blow it into the wind, and we move into back to spirit, and it goes back to spirit. And what we do when it's in spirit, we allow spirit to handle whatever. So we set it and forget it, and we let that go. And we let spirit handle whatever. Once we give life, finish the spell, and we let spirit handle it. And we trust. But these life cycles that you're going through, personal, especially if they're tough ones, it's because if you're repeating them, it's because you're not making the right decision. For example, if you keep having bad experiences with men, and this is something that I've gone through where you'll meet somebody, you'll marry them or date them for a very long time, and you knew from the beginning they weren't the right person, or you knew from the beginning they didn't meet your needs. They didn't do this, they didn't do that, but you still stuck with it because why? You want a relationship. You love them. You don't want to feel like an asshole and put the person out. So you'll keep repeating the cycle. It's because you're not changing the way you see things or changing the way you handle relationships. And it'll be that simple. Period. On period. All right, guys, but that's what I wanted to talk about today. Life cycles, planetary cycles, and just the cycle period, so that y'all can fully understand that even though y'all may not be, once you notice the cycle is starting again, because for example, when I was talking about the birthday cycles, and every time you'll notice on your birthday, a month before your birthday, you'll be repeating a certain cycle that you've gone through year after year after year. But until you change a certain behavior, a certain pattern, that's when that birthday cycle will kind of shift. The experience will still come around, but you would have handled your business in such a way in the back end that you won't experience that cycle the same way again. So like with the men, the fuck ass niggas will still come around. I don't mean to say it like that, but that's I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. They'll still show up. But you're different, so you won't keep them. I heard a dating coach say one time, beautiful women have broke, dusty men try to date them too. They just don't keep them. That be the problem, is when you keep the person around. Oh, we just having sex. We just having fun. We keeping it short. We having fun. You know, we friends with benefits. And then that brings a child. You know, now you bound to that motherfucker. These are the cycles that we breaking, or we have broken. And I'm saying this because a lot of people are going to be, with this Jupiter retrograde, we're going back to clear up subconscious things that's deep within. It's not a behavioral, physical thing. It may come out that way, but now we're going in and getting deep into the core of why. If you haven't cleared up, like I said, an addiction or a behavior pattern of allowing certain people in your life that don't belong there. Period. So that's what I wanted to say today. That is it. I love you guys. Please go back and watch this from the beginning, because I really get into cycles and life cycles and planetary cycles. I don't get into every planet, but I just try to show y'all the differences in like going back into like last year's retrograde cycle compared to this year's retrograde cycle. Remember when I was bringing up last year's own? So mostly, I think we only have a few people, but yeah. So that's where I'm going at with it. All right, my loves. I love you guys. I'm gonna go get my nails done. Today's my day off. I'm gonna get something to eat. And I will see y'all tomorrow. I need to get my hair washed, you know. I'm gonna wash my hair too. I'm gonna do that tonight. I've been doing my children's hair all weekend. All right. I love y'all. Adios.